Assalamu alaikum and hi viewers, this is Sajjad Hussain and you are watching my YouTube channel. Viewers, in today's video I am going to discuss with you a short story by Nadine Gordimer, and the name of the short story is Once Upon a Time. Nadine Gordimer is a South African novelist and short story writer, and she was awarded Nobel Prize for Literature in 1991. This short story, Once Upon a Time, is a frame story. It is a double narration. It is a story within story. There are two parts of this story. In the first part, the writer describes an incident from her personal life. She is of the view that one of her admirers wrote a letter to her that she must write a story for children, and she wrote back to him that she does not write anything that is not a work of inspiration, that is not a work of motivation, or that is not a work of spontaneity. And one night, when she was lying on her bed, she heard a noise, and that noise increased in its intensity. And in order to relax, in order to pacify herself, she started telling herself a bedtime story. Now, this is the first part, and it comes to an end here. Now, what is that story that she narrates to herself? This is the second story, and it is the story of a family. The family has the husband, the wife, their 7-year-old son, and a wise old witch who is the husband's mother. And the family lives in a posh area. They are well to do, they are rich, they have access to each and every luxury of life. But unfortunately, in the vicinity, in the slums, there live people who are impoverished and who are down and out and who do not have access to the basic needs of life. The result is that because of this disparity, there are robberies and there are dacoities every other day. People from those slums break into the houses of these people who are well to do, and they are deprived of their belongings and possessions. Now, in order to secure the family and in order to secure their house, different security measures are taken by the husband. In the beginning, there is a plaque that is fixed outside the house, and this plaque has a clear warning. And then there are electronically controlled gates. We find out that there is an alarm bell that is installed inside the house, and the windows are protected through iron bars. However, their inner fear does not come to an end, because the number of robberies and the number of dacoities increase every other day. The mistress of the house as well as the housemaid is scared, and they demand that more security measures should be taken. Now, the mother of the husband, who is called the wise old witch, believes that nobody should be taken off the street, and whenever an employee is hired, thorough investigation should be made, and only then he should be employed. We find out that the boy has a pet cat, and this pet cat can easily jump over the wall, the boundary wall, and this is noticed by the inmates of the house. If the cat can jump over the wall, there is a possibility that the burglars can easily cross it. Therefore, they decide to raise the wall, and the husband's mother pays for the extra bricks as a Christmas present to her son. And she also gives a Christmas present to her grandson, and this gift is of a fairy tale story book. or a fantasy book, and the boy reads that story, and he is quite inspired by it. When the wall is raised, when it is elevated, the thought comes to them that there must be a razor wire that should be installed there on the boundary wall. So there is a company by the name Dragon's Teeth. The services of this company are hired for the purpose, and after the wire is installed there, the cat is sensible enough and it does not try to cross, or it does not try to jump over the wall. However, the boy who has recently read a fairy tale like story, a fantasy from the book that has been given to him by his grandmother, is very much motivated, is very much inspired, is very much influenced by the heroics of the protagonist in that story. The hero in that story braves through and he overcomes all the hurdles and all the difficulties on the way, and he reaches the sleeping beauty and kisses her back to life. And this is something that greatly intrigues the boy, and the next day he pretends to be that hero in the story that he read, and he tries to jump over the wall. But when he jumps over the wall, his body gets stuck into the razor wire, and the blades and the fangs that are there, the more he makes an effort to release himself, the further or the more he gets into the wire, and with great effort his body has to be retrieved after cutting that razor wire, and the story comes to an end. Now, there are different themes that are there in the story. The first theme that is most prominent is the theme of inner insecurity, inner anxiety, internal anxiety. This is the problem with the family, that they are never at ease, and they believe that someone would come, some intruder would attack them, would break into their house and deprive them all of their possessions. And in order to content themselves, in order to satisfy themselves, they start taking all precautionary measures, and after one precautionary measure there is the next and the next, and there is no end to these measures. However, after taking all these measures, they are not able to save themselves, they are not able to save their child. So the real problem is the discontentment, dissatisfaction that they have at heart. So the need of the hour was, and the need was, that they should have that contentment and they should have that satisfaction. The second theme is the theme of division, disparity that is there in the society. The community is divided into two sections, into two factions. There are haves and there are have-nots, and have-nots believe that the haves are responsible for their deprivation, and this is what they have in their mind. So whenever they find a chance, they break into the houses of the rich and deprive them of their wealth, and they are not hesitant to inflict maximum damage to them. So once again, it is needed that this financial disparity should be removed. The theme of otherness is also there. We find out that the people are discriminated on the basis of their race and color. They are looked down upon, and when the people are unemployed and when they do not have enough means to support themselves, to sustain themselves, the result is the anger and frustration, and this anger and frustration leads to the hatred against those who are resourceful, who are rich, who are influential. And these deprived people and these underprivileged people has a feeling of revenge against those who own all these possessions. And this is what we see in the story, and this is the cause of insecurity, this is the cause of fear, this is the cause of paranoia, this is the cause of hysteria, this is the cause of unease that the members of the family suffer from. Instead of taking precautionary measures, they should have satisfied themselves at heart, and one of the ways for this satisfaction was that they should have contributed generously to those who were down and out, and they should have tried to employ those who were impoverished and who were suffering from misery of poverty. Only then they would have got some satisfaction of heart. Another important theme is that a work of art has great usefulness. A work of art is never useless. We find out that the fairy tale like story, that fantasy book that is read by the boy very much influences him, very much moves him, and he starts imitating the hero of the story. So art does influence our life. It influences our life in a way in which we perceive it. There are different literary devices that are there in the story. Irony is there because all the measures that the husband and the inmates of the house undertake in order to protect their life and property turn out to be null and void. The very device and the wire, the razor wire that they install in order to protect themselves and in order to protect their life is responsible for the death of the boy. There are symbols that have been employed in the story. Foreshadowing is also there when we come to know that the swimming pool is fenced so that the play and his mates should remain safe. This is also an indication of the fact that something tragic and something disastrous and something ominous is going to take place by the end of the story. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. Keep watching, keep following. Those who haven't yet subscribed, do subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.